Hi everyone, ErravensAddiction here. Today is the 26th of September, and yes, it's Saturday, not Sunday, but I'm having an extended weekend at my boyfriend's, which means that I wouldn't be getting home on Sunday when I normally do it. I'd be getting home on Monday, and I really didn't want to wait because I'm impatient. So I'm doing it on Saturday at his house. And which is why it kind of seems like a Where's Waldo in the background kind of situation, because I'm somewhere different every single week. Maybe it'll be my thing. I'll be somewhere different every week because next week I won't be here either. I'll be in New Mexico with some friends. So I don't know. Part of me really wants to still do my video in a way there, but I'm not sure how that's gonna work. I wish I was more technical and I could take like little mini, snapshots of my entire week there and like put it into a slideshow with like a little message in the beginning. That'd be pretty awesome, but I'm not that handy with a computer. But yeah, so this week is going to be all about spinning. Yay! And especially the drop spindles. I do have 2 wheels. I've owned 3 wheels, but I do have 2 wheels, and I'm not sure how they're going to work in the camera angles and stuff, but I'll figure that out later. And where you can find me is now Pinterest, Instagram, and Ravelry, of course. And just a little update. Of course, I've not worked on any of my Christmas stuff. You know how that works, because I have the attention span of a squirrel, apparently. And I tell people all the time when they're like, I wouldn't have the patience for knitting or for crocheting. I'm like, I don't either. I just change projects. Like, I've literally changed projects every hour sometimes. And so like I always have like 10 or 15 projects going on at once. And as I want to do them, I just pick them up. They're usually all in like a project bag or something. I pick them up and I go with them. But yeah, I'm not that person that knits one thing continuously until it's done, unless it's really small. So I have been working on the craft fair, and I decided I need like somewhere around 300 items made. Now granted, like 100 of them are just little tiny flowers, but still I need like 300 items made by December, I decided, for my booth. I'm hoping, don't tell anyone. As if, I guess there's a couple people in Facebook world that watch this and might be going there too, but I'm pretty much the only crocheter I know that is local and does it for money. And so I'm hoping to do really chic stuff, like really cool slouchies like this, but not like this because this one is knitted. I have to post the pattern for this. This is my only hand spun, and the pattern for this is just amazing. Like if you can see, it's not a ribbed cable, or a ribbed brim. It's actually this really cool pattern, and then it's really simple up through here, and then you just decrease and bind off. And I probably have made them a day or two. It really doesn't take long at all once you get into it. And at this point, like the moment I read the pattern again, I can memorize it and do it. I've done about 4 or 5 of these hats, and at the time, it's on a magazine, and I want to say it's like Jane Austen's magazine or something like that, but I'll definitely link it in case that's not the pattern. I know it's a book. By some and it's a time period book, and so all of these different patterns are in it. Well, book is used lately. It's a magazine. And so when we found this pattern, like everyone fell in love with it, and so we all of my group, like I think there was like 8 or 9 of us at the time, at my knitting group, all got together and made it, and it looked good on every single one of us, it's like the traveling hat pattern instead of the traveling pants or something. But and so we all fell in love with it. Especially because I love slouchy hats. It's pretty much my go-to hat, because if not, I feel like it looks really weird when my hats come down to here like normal hats. So even when I have beanies on, I tend to slouch them by pulling them back. And sure, there's like a more technical word than slouchy, but I always call them slouchies. And I guess they're like a barrette that I wear in a different style, but it's what I call them. And where was it? Oh yes, the fair. See, I do have the attention span of a squirrel. And the fair is going really well, though. I'm close to like 20 items already, and it's the first week, basically. I got a little bit of everything, I think, done. I'm really hoping to push out a lot of stuff this weekend, because I think I need like 20, 30 items a week for 2 weeks. Something around that. Like, I need like 30 or 40 items done every week. And I have like 20. I have that coffee cozy pattern that I showed you guys is so quick, and I do it up. I already have like 8 of them made. I did some flowers. I did a hat. I did some baby props. So yeah, I'm definitely, and some of the bigger stuff, like that's the cool thing. I'm not just doing the really small stuff really fast. I decided to take some time and really do some of the big stuff because I was having trouble with my hat patterns. And when I do my hats, I really don't follow a pattern. So I was having trouble getting a pattern that I really liked that was consistent. And I finally got one last night, which was really great. And it looks adorable. And for once, I think I'm picking really great color combinations. So I hope at least. It helped that my friend had really great taste in yarn when I went and looked through his stash. Which, if I didn't tell you, he was like destashing all his yarn. Or not all of it, but most of it. And I went over and looked through it. He has amazing taste in yarn. So it was really nice to go over there and have like some of the harder stuff taken care of, like the colors. And so I snagged a whole bunch. So hopefully that helps out with this fair. I'm still excited. Thanks to one of my Ravelry people, I'm pretty sure I'm also going to start working on my own banner. And I don't know, I saw a bunch of Pinterest things where it looks super easy. Like, you basically buy a banner and you just stamp letters on it. And I was like, oh, that's not too hard. And part of me is already thinking about how do you set up a booth and how many tables do I want. And secretly I want 3 just to make it look really nice. And part of me hopes I'm not like pressed against a wall and I can kind of angle my tables. And I'm hoping my church lets me borrow a mannequin that they have just kind of wasting away in a corner, if they still have it. I haven't been there in a little while. And yeah, it would be really awesome, I hope. I'll take lots of pictures, 4 weeks from now. Maybe, and I should take pictures of all my progress too. But I'm bad about that, I guess. I'll Instagram it. That will be my goal. I will Instagram a finished project every day for a week. That might get muddy around Thursday, just an FYI. Thursday is when I am flying out to New Mexico, all on my own. So Thursday is when that might get muddy. I'm a little scared. It will be my first time flying alone, so. And now if I'm done rambling about everything, I should get into the actual reason I'm making a video today, which is spinning. I will start with the only spindle that I only have one of his make. So my birthday is in July, and I wasn't really sure what I wanted this year because I'd already been up to the Mannings with my own money, and so I told my boyfriend, like, if you just give me money, I'd really like to buy a spindle. And this was not my first spindle. Like, I started getting spindles again back in April or May, I started getting spindles again. Because I just realized, like, if I spend a little bit more money than $15, I might get a really nice spindle and really fall in love with it. Which I did. Which none of these are my original spindles either. That one might be original. But because I have this habit of getting them, and if I don't like them, I will destash them. I also get a lot of mine on destash on Ravelry. I might link that too, like the Ravelry destash for spindles. And I might link that too this time, just because it's a really cool place. But the first one is a Golding, and it's really, I don't know if I don't have anything for a really good. This is a 6. This is my spindle. It's almost the same size as my phone. So it's the tiniest spindle I own. But Golden has this thing where, do you see like the brass or that on the edge? All his weight on his spindles are in that. And so this is one of his lighter ones. I think it's like ½ an ounce. And all the weight is at the outside, so when it spins really long. Let's see if I can get it to spin really quick. This one is also, I think, the only one that doesn't have a startup on it. That what I will be spinning on, because I just realized I didn't bring one of my pieces today. See? And it spins forever and ever and ever. Let's see if I can get a nicer spin on it. Like, it's spinning, it's just really flat. And I mean, it has a little bit of a whirl to it, but that's me actually dropping more and more yarn down. But yeah, it's just a really nice little spindle. Also, I love it because I wanted one of his plain ones. I didn't want one of his fancy ones, and I didn't want one of his painted on ones or anything like that. I wanted a plain one. But also, I was looking at the ebony, and then I realized he had bog oak, which is apparently like oak that fell into a bog and then stayed there for like thousands of years. So I think this one's like 2,000 or 3,000 years old. And I don't know if you'll see it on here, but like you see all the grains and stuff. Like you still see all the grain, but it becomes this like luscious black as it's in the water like that. So it's a really nice spindle. Golden. Who doesn't have a name? My spindles tend not to have names like my wheels do. I don't know why. I don't know. Next, I'll do my Spanish peacocks. I was having a really hard time at work, and I must have already had spindles at this point. I must have already started collecting them. And I was having a really hard time at work, and I came home and I was just devastated. And then I looked on Facebook, and that's when the owner of Spanish Peacock announced that he would not be at Maryland Sheep and Wool because of a rotor cup that he had to have surgery on. I'm like half tempted to, because he's at a fair like an hour away, but his booth would be sold out, I know, by the time I would ever make it there. And I just wait for Maryland Sheep and Wool and have a nice Maryland Sheep and Wool weekend. And so I was having a really hard time, and then he said that, and I was like devastated again, because I was hoping to get a really nice spindle from him there, because my friend talks about him all the time and talks about how nice he is, and I really just was like, yes, I want one of his spindles. But then he pulled out, and then I realized, well, maybe he was making some, maybe he'll be selling some of them. So I asked about it, and he had 3. He had a butterfly, this one, and one other, and I asked for the butterfly and this one. And then I recently decided that I really didn't need as many spindles as I had, so I got rid of the butterfly. But this one it was too pretty to pass up, and I love it. His daughter, I think, designed the pictures of the bunnies, I think. And it's not a heavy spindle. It's definitely under an ounce. No, I don't know what it's made out of. But again, like it's a wonderful little spinner. I'm gonna demonstrate again as soon as I wrap on all of this extra yarn, because that makes it easier. The only thing about his is they don't have that notch in it. So what I always do is I wrap it around once and then pull it up, and it tends to help. But maybe I'll do that better on here. I take up the yarn, I wrap it until it's the whole way around, and then I bring it up and through the rest of the hook then, because it doesn't have a notch. And I'll show you on some of my other spindles that do have a notch what the difference is. At this point it doesn't bother me that there's no notch. And so yeah, it's a little longer. It's a lot longer. His spindles are probably the longest spindles I own, and they all tend to be pretty large in the Whirled area too, but they're still really, really nice. Still very flat spinner, but they won't spin as long as the Golden, because the weight distribution still isn't on the outside. They're on the inside, and so I'm wrapping it up for some reason. I don't know why. They all have projects on them from other times. But yeah, I have that one. And then I also have See if it will show up because it's white. A Gallifrey! Yay! Because he was doing a special where he said you can pick the words, and I'll put it on a spindle, and here's the prices. And so I asked for family. I asked this word says family, and Gallifreyan is Doctor Who language, and which is not Doctor Who language, but it's the Doctor's language. And I won't spin on this one because this one isn't mine. As I said before, I loaned this out, and I told her she could keep whichever Spanish peacock she really fell in love with and let her borrow it for longer. But she brought them all back the other day. Well, my mom was there, and so she brought them all back, but I asked for them back so I could do this video. But yes, I love this one. It's so white. And I love that I picked family for it. But let's see, which one will I do next? I'll keep with the drop spindles, and then I also have supports that I'll be doing. But this is a moosey. It's a bosworth moosey. And as you can see, these have the notch. My camera's like, why is it so white on white? Let's see if that helps. Does that help? No. But yeah, bosworths make these. It's really terrible because it's such a pretty like gray white, not a white white. It's basically, this is a moose antler, and I went to Maryland Sheep and Wool last year, and I got up at the break of dawn because actually my boyfriend lives like half an hour from it, and I got up at the break of dawn with him, and we went, and I rushed through all the stands just so I could make it to the Bosworth stand, just so I could get a moosey, because if you don't get them at either of their festivals, it's a minimum of a year wait. So I wasn't very particular, and I picked up 2 of them actually, and I definitely want another one already. Like I love them, and they are pricier than any of my other spindles that I have. Other than that, I'll explain that the 1D stash was overpriced, but yeah. And this is my heaviest one. It's a little over an ounce. All the rest of them are definitely, I think even my supports are under an ounce. But yeah, and I can show you how he spins. Which, I'll show you later. Like, this one is called a mini. And he probably has the shortest spin time of all of them. But he does spin pretty great. And he's the only one that I probably ever own that's this heavy. But yeah, see, this spin time's shorter, so I have to flick it more often. And flicking is this motion. And I should just break this and leave it on here. Let's see. There we go. But yeah, this is my moosey. And he does have a name. He's one of the few ones that has a name. His name is Clarence, which is a supernatural reference to the one angel in there. Because I love that show too. Anything geeky is me. But, and then this is my other Bosworth. That's a mini, this is a midi. This spins longer than the mini does. And so I like the midi, and this wood. I absolutely adore this wood. It is the Flame Box Elder wood. And so I've had 2 now. I got one at the Maryland Sheep and Wool, but it wasn't quite as dark as this one in the color differences. So I bought this one right from them. And I like this color better, so I got rid of my other one. It's super, super light. I mean, it has a huge cob on it right now because I'm in the middle of a project. But it's super light, and I'm just going to spin it like that. But yeah, you can just see how much longer it spins out than the mini did. And I'm going to let that go crazy because I didn't draft anything, so the poor yarn is having a conniption fit. But yes. During Tour de France, this was my main spinning project, and I didn't finish it, and then I loaned out my spindle, and I just haven't gotten back to it, especially since I have 1,000,001 projects always going on at once. Next, this is not my only bowl, and this isn't even my favorite bowl. I left my favorite bowl at home. It's the piece I forgot, and it actually matches one of my my one support spindle, and it's beautiful. It's gorgeous, and it spins so much nicer. But this is a Grizzly Mountain spinning bowl. And I don't know what it is, but I assume this is like a stone of some sort inside of here, and then wood. It just doesn't have a deep enough groove. So I feel like my spindles pop out more often than not. And so it just isn't a really nice spindle. But I'm going to have to drop down this and then, well, maybe I won't. Sorry if I just made anyone motion sickness. But I have 2 of these, which I know all of you are now gasping because not many people can say nowadays that they have 2 of these that just started collecting spindles in the last 6 months. But I got 2 moosies just for the idea that I was going to trade for one of these. And I was actually surprised that not a lot of people responded, but 2 or 3 people responded. 1 pulled out, 1 only had a twindle, which I really want a twindle too, but I wanted the glindle more at the time. And also at the time I also had a goddess, but I learned that that goddess just wasn't meant for me, and I would love one of their Doctor Who or Sherlock referenced ones. And it'd be awesome if one day they came out with a goddess that had foxes on it, because I am a fox fanatic. I collect everything and anything that has a fox on it, and I actually even, like, they're my inner animal. And so my room is literally covered in fox things. I even have this. It's my little fox, and yes, it's purple and black because my fox is purple and black. So yeah, part of me really hopes one day they come out with a goddess that is fox themed, because I would snap that up in a heartbeat. That would be probably the pride of my spindle collection, just because it would be fox, and that'd be cool. But yeah, so I got this one. I don't know the wood at all. I mean, I guess I could probably ask them, the makers of this, which are Bristlecone, and this one's called a glindle. They have a twindle, and they have a goddess, and it's a husband and wife team with all their kids, and they kind of live off the grid, and it sounds really awesome. But I'm kind of a lurker on all of my forums, so I don't ever really jump in a lot, and so I haven't gotten to really know a whole bunch. And but yeah, this one, when I got it, she called it the Sea Dragon, and I don't know if it's going to show up really well on here, but it's like an underwater flower kind of theme, and if you kind of look at it, there does look to be like a dragon sleeping among it. But I think the name was Jane the Dragon or something like that, but I don't know. I see flowers. And it's hard to show it on here, but maybe I'll take a really good picture one day of all my spindles, and you'll be able to see, like this is not doing them justice. They glow, like they glow, and you can know someone took the time to do this all by hand. That's the really amazing part. And then learn how to fuse glass and wood together all by hand. I think that's also what I really love about spindles. It's all done by hand. Like all the spindles you saw, someone does that by hand. And that's, like, I'm doing my craft by hand. Wouldn't it be, it's awesome to do something else that's crafted by hand. Like, do your craft while it's crafted by hand. I don't know if that's making any sense. But yeah. And so there's this one. And then I was getting it on D-Stash, and it's the only reason. When you see these things on D-Stash, they literally go within the minute, and usually like 40 or 50 people replied. But this woman, I don't know the circumstances, but she had charged more, and I happened to have that all on my PayPal, and I couldn't pass up this spindle. Like, something about this spindle was just amazing. Those are all wood burnings. Someone did that by hand. I don't know. And this is the one that has the bowl that matches it in this really cute white, and it has the little snowflakes on it. And then the end of it it's reflecting me. But there's blue and it's white and it's swirled, and it's amazing. Now this one, if you can, I'm not sure it's going to all fit in, is longer than this one. They both spin really well, and you can also tell the tips are different. I think there's terms for every single one of these, like the different I'm pretty sure there is, and I don't know them, but like the different terms for the tips. But yeah, I love them. Like, I don't know. And I'm hoping, like I said, to get a twindle at one point. And I would love to get another goddess. I just knew the goddess I had wasn't mine, so I ended up destashing it to someone else who was really looking for their first goddess. And I knew I was making someone else's day when I realized that the spindle and me just weren't getting along. And that's my thing. Like any spindle I've kept at this point, because I used to have double this amount. It had to get along with me. Like I had to want to pick it up and spin it all the time. And it wasn't that it was a bad spindle. It just wasn't clicking with me. Whereas all these other ones have. I don't know. Something about this one is gorgeous all the time. So now I'm going to try to demonstrate without any yarn. Because like I said, it's not my favorite. I'm just guessing that this looks really good. But yeah, that's how. Actually, let me back this up. Maybe if I back it up, it will be a little better too. Sorry for all the moving. Pretty sure someone's probably just getting motion sickness. Alright. And then we're gonna drop this a little. That way you get the whole demonstration of it. But yeah, see? And then I let them just rest in my fingers really lightly. I mean, I think other people go like this, but I let it rest really lightly. And then you would be drafting out with this side. Let me see if I can do it with this. Like I said, I don't like this spinning bowl, but it would wind up to the top, and then I always park and draft. So I would be drafting, parking, spinning. And then you would pull it, and then you just wrap, and you do it all over again. But yeah. This is my box. This is where all of my spindles live all the time. And see, told you, I love foxes. But yeah, I think that's all of my spindles, and that's pretty much all of the stuff I had to talk about today. I think. I hope this doesn't sound cheesy in any way. Sorry, that's gonna annoy me that it's like looking up at my face. I hope this isn't cheesy, but I'm thinking if we make it to 25 followers on Ravelry, I will be doing a giveaway. Something really tiny, like a pattern, maybe one of the patterns I've shown on here, or some stitch markers. And maybe next time I'll do like a stitch mark, like 2 weeks from now I'll do like a stitch marker update, because I have 1,001 of them suckers. But yeah, I'll do something like that. Not too big, just something kind of cute and little. So, you know. But I definitely want it to be more than like 10 people, because actually some of these people are my friends in person. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed another episode, and I hope you have a good week. Bye!